Okay, I can explain this again. Running homemade diesel fuel does not affect emissions. As long as you're following the factory emissions, you're good to go. Stinky Pete is a 1992 Dodge diesel. In the state of Pennsylvania, I have emissions and inspections. I do not violate any factory inspection codes on the vehicle. All the weights and tires and suspension, everything is good to go. It's perfectly legal to upgrade things, but you cannot downgrade things. Like if I had 1-ton brakes, I cannot take them off and put half-ton brakes on the truck. Like how I took half-ton leaf springs off and I put 1-ton leaf springs up. I can upgrade things on the truck, I just cannot downgrade. Now, for a lot of emissions, this passes all factory emissions already. But a lot of states have their own emission laws that you have to follow, like in California. So, Stinky Pete, if I lived in California, would not be legal. Or New York City, because they have actual smog testing. But for my state that I live in, it passes all emissions, no problem. So long as it's under so many decibels for exhaust noise, which this does stay under 90 decibels, and I don't put out an excessive amount of smoke out the exhaust because it's not tuned properly, it's all good to go. See, a lot of these states for inspections or emissions have what's called grandfathered clause. So for 1992, it passes all emissions, no problem at all. But if you're trying to take a modern common rail engine with like DEF systems or EGR valves, if you delete those systems to run on used motor oil, now that would be illegal because you're tampering from the factory emissions. So this is why I like older vehicles. You could do practically anything to them and not affect any of that. So like with that grandfather clause, I do not have to update the exhaust system on Stinky Pete to have it clean, idle, burning, or something like that for California specs because I do not live in California and most of these states don't have that. And running used motor oil does not put out any worse emissions than if you were just burning regular diesel fuel. See, my dad had a shop. We used to do inspections on vehicles. Now, it's been quite a while. They might have changed the laws a little bit here and there, but it's all basic the same. Like I said before, in my county, emissions are exempt on diesel engines. And even if I did have to get the emission stickers, it would be no problem. Because I follow all factory emissions on this year. Now, if they really wanted to push the issue, Stinky Pete originally was a gas engine with an EGR valve. But that's going by the VIN number because the motor's not in it anymore. But since I did a Cummins swap, as long as I followed the factory motor specs, it's all good. Even with it cold, a lot of this is just moisture coming out of the exhaust. It's all good to go.